right, here we are. So, good morning and good evening, I should say. John Corabi.
Good morning for you. Good evening for me.
Yeah, that's it. So, whereabouts are you now? You in Nashville?
I'm actually visiting a friend in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm down here for a little bit and heading back up to Nashville Friday to do some shows, and then hopefully come over there to visit you guys and play some music.
Yeah, what's only a couple of weeks away, really?
Yeah, I think the first show is the second
Yeah,
in
that's right.
Sydney.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is the first show is in Sydney and the last show is in Perth.
Yeah.
Everything in between, I'm a little foggy on.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm in Melbourne, so I know you're in Melbourne on Thursday, 9th of June at the Northcote Social Club.
Yeah, it should be fun, dude. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while.
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully everything's all back to normal now. Pretty semi-normal, I should say. So, should have no problems.
No, I kind of got through COVID relatively health-wise unscathed. I did have it over the Christmas holidays, but it was so minor. Like, I didn't have any symptoms at all. I was vaccinated, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just been brutal from not working financially. It's been like, oh my God, seriously, I just want to go back to work.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to coming over there and basically maybe unvirginizing myself again with the Australian crowd.
Yeah, I mean, you've been here a few times now, haven't you? I mean, the last time was 2019.
Yeah, I came over and I did the Motley 94 shows.
Sure.
But I've been there several times with Union, ESP, the Daisies, obviously. So I love coming over there. Everybody's so accommodating and just seemed like everybody just seems like they're in a good mood down there. G'day, mate. Oh, great.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we try to be.
Well, you know what? You have a beautiful country down there, beautiful weather. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
Get back down there and do some acoustic storyteller stuff.
I was just going to ask, what can we expect from this little tour?
Just a little bit of everything. I got to be honest, when I do these shows, there's really not any kind of rhyme or reason to anything. I mean, mind you, some people, I've had some fans from the audience yell, smoke the sky. And I'm like, okay, newsflash, I'm on an acoustic guitar. That's not going to happen. But it's pretty loose, man. It's like I tell stories, I tell jokes. Some of my stories are funny, but they're a little long, you know what I mean? But I just, the idea is for everybody to be comfortable, hear some music, maybe get to know John Corabi a little better, and just have fun. You know what I mean? So there's no rhyme or reason. Somebody may yell a song out of the audience, and I'll just go, well, you know what? I haven't played it in a couple of years, but let's go. Let's try. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to anything. It's just fun.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it's really good too to find out a little bit the backstories behind the songs, before you play it, and as well.
And that's the thing. When I first started doing these, I was doing, I was sitting there going, okay, I'm doing an acoustic tour. I've got to do these songs from the Scream record and these from the Motley record and this from my solo stuff. And so I was doing maybe, I don't know, 20 plus songs, 25 songs. But then at the end of the night, I would go sit at the merch table or the bar and just hang out, meet people. And I found myself explaining what certain songs were about, why I wrote it, how it came to be, even some of the covers. I do a few cover songs. so I'm like, maybe it's not about playing more music. Maybe it's just about making it more intimate and, like you said, giving them a little bit of a backstory on how I wrote a song like Father, Mother, Son, or how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So um, I've been doing that now for a couple years. And so now I'll do maybe 13, 15 songs, tell some stories. I tell some really horrible jokes. And like I said, we just have fun and it's been going over great.
Yeah. So is there any songs that you found a little bit challenging to do on the acoustic?
Um, Not really. The beauty about it, well, the hard thing about acoustic is you're naked.
Yeah.
There is like you can't hide a flub or a mistake behind all of amps and drums, and so it's just you, your voice, and the guitar. And I just find myself, even if I'm having a night where I can't really sing, like maybe I'm tired or I hit certain notes, I'll play with the melody a little bit.
Mm.
Again, it's loose, but I haven't had any complaints. So it should be a lot of fun. But I don't really have like I know myself. So when I kind of go out on stage, I'm like, oh, I'm having a little bit of a rough night.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't do this song. Maybe I'll do this one instead. Something a little easier. But it's just loose. It's fun. It's no rhyme or reason to anything.
Yeah. And you're just taking it by the, like, song by song, aren't you? Like, there's no song list.
I don't even write a set list.
Yeah.
I start talking to people. I start playing, and I kind of feel everybody out as I'm going. If I have a bunch of people that are singing along and really getting off on everything, then I'll play a few more sing along type songs. But it's just, again, no rhyme or reason, anything. There's no set list. There's no rules. I've even done some where I'm just like, hey, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me a question. And and then it becomes a acoustic joke storytellers Q&A.
Yeah, a bit of everything.
No rhyme or reason.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was watching some of your acoustic ones last night, and I saw, Hard Luck Woman, which you do really well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that song. It was always one of my favorite. I always kid around and I say it's my favorite Garth Brooks song.
Yeah.
But always one of my favorite Kiss songs. And, my voice is very, even my friend here, she's like, God, it's so weird. Like you and Peter Criss almost sound alike. You have that tonality in your voice. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So again, let's just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And actually, I noticed too, like you're pretty much throughout your whole career, you've had like a Kiss connection, I should say. Like as far as, in the first band was Agora with Gene Simmons liking the band, and you had Union with Bruce Kulick, and then ESP with Eric Singer, Dead Daisy supporting Kiss.
Yeah, it's a little surreal, especially when we were with the Daisies, because I hadn't really spent a huge amount of time, other than Gene and Eric. I hadn't spent a huge amount of time with like Paul and Tommy, and but we went on tour, and there was a couple times, and I usually tell these stories when I'm on stage.
Yep.
There was a couple times where it was just so surreal, like right before we're getting ready to go on, Gene would meander into our dressing room, fully dressed in the outfit, 8 feet tall. And he would tell me some crazy joke. And, and I would just sit there, and then he would literally tell me the joke, the punchline, and then just turn around and walk out of the dressing room. And you just kind of find yourself standing there with your mouth open, like, oh my God, that's like Dr. Love, God of Thunder, just walked in and told me a Jew joke, and then You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
pinch myself, it's pretty funny. But I love those guys. They've been so supportive of, Gene and Eric,
mm,
throughout my career have been incredibly supportive. And you know what, Paul and all of their crew guys were incredibly accommodating when we were on tour with them. So nothing but props and kudos to those guys.
yeah. So do you remember that first time you met Gene back in when you were in Agora?
Yes, actually, I just wrote a book. It's coming out actually pretty soon now,
Mm,
and there's the whole story and issue on how I met Gene.
okay.
And it was weird. He had heard our band, liked the band, was talking to us about a record deal. But then again, it was weird. Again, he kind of put us off because we're like Gene Simmons. We were all huge Kiss fans.
Mm,
And then we were rehearsing at a place called SIR in LA. And we were in this huge room, had a basketball court, called it. And Gene just walked in and picked up a basketball and started shooting baskets. And it was like kind of calmed everybody down,
mm.
but we were still like really intimidated for a minute. You know what I mean? He's got this presence, you know what I mean? And he's a funny guy. He makes no bones about who he is and his personality and different things like that. And I respect that. Good people.
Yeah, yeah. But like you said, it'll be in the book, so people can check it out.
Yeah, all in the book.
Yeah. Now, is there any chance that the book will be ready before you come to Australia and you'll be bringing it here?
We're hoping. I know the book publisher is aware that I'm coming there, and
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I didn't want to announce that we will have books
Okay.
because always that glitch that it could get hung up in customs.
Mm, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that they arrive.
Yeah.
Whether or not they will, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know like the freight to bring books over here is just crazy. To like, I've just ordered some books from Steve Rosen about his stories with Van Halen, and the freight just like $100 for one book, just about.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here now going, I don't even know. Like, I had to order some, because mind you, I hadn't been playing for 2 years.
Yeah.
So this trip to Australia came up relatively quick, and I had to order CDs.
Mm.
But then I'm sitting there going, well, how do I get them there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
I want to bring CDs to sell and some things. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to ship them there. My only drag about I was thinking I might put some in my suitcase.
Yep.
But I did that. Again, your customs, when I arrived at the airport, I x-rayed my seat. They x-rayed my suitcase,
Mm.
and they saw that I had CDs in there, and they charged me like, I don't know, it was like $300 Australian tax.
Oh wow.
And I'm, so I don't know what the deal is going to be.
Yeah.
We'll figure. Paul Miles, the guy that I wrote the book with,
Yep.
he's I believe he lives in Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
He co-wrote the book with me, and he was already on the phone with I keep saying label, the book publisher,
Mm.
about making sure we had books down there for each one of the shows.
Yep.
So
So talking about the book, it is called Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. Great title.
yes.
Yeah, that's from your father, wasn't it?
Yeah, my father kind of mentioned that to me. I didn't know what it meant. And it's basically, I'm taking a piss out of myself. It's like, I for some reason have been this guy that has quietly gone through a career, and I have been the king of being at the right place, but always at the wrong time. Obviously, if you look at Motley and, all the different bands I've been in, I just did an interview yesterday, and it's like, man, it's so weird. Like, all the bands that you're in, when you're in them, people are like, oh, that's kind of cool. But for some reason, like you leave and then like 15 years later, like all of a sudden the records become like these cult classics and these, you know, they actually sell better later than they did at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So my dad, I was kidding around one day when I did my acoustic record. I was joking because I did half of the record was songs that I had recorded in the past, and then half was new stuff. And I just reworked everything acoustically. And I was kidding with my dad, and I said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to call the record John Corabi's Almost Greatest Hits." And he chuckled and he goes, "Or you could just call it Horseshoes and Hand Grenades." And I go, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "You know, horseshoes and hand grenades. You don't got to be on the money. You just got to be." And I was like, "Oh, that's genius." So I saved it, thinking I might do a record at some point and call it Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. But once we started doing the book and I reread it and going through the editing process, I realized just how much I am the king of being at the right place at the wrong time. And you know what? That's got to be the title. Yeah. So we went with that.
That's great. So it's a fairly large book, is it?
Yes. You know, it's really weird. I had no desire to do a book at first, and B, I had never, obviously, I had no desire to do one, so I didn't know anything about the book world. And when Paul and I turned in the finished product and the publishing company was interested, they were concerned because they said, well, most autobiographies are about 300 pages over. And mine is, God, I want to say it's almost 460 pages.
Okay. Wow.
But he goes, it's not boring. Like he said, I read the book. He said the publishing company. The president said I read the book and I didn't get bored, so he made everybody in his staff read it, and they all came back and they said I wouldn't change anything. It was not boring at all. So hopefully, the general public feels the same way. If not, they can, the book also doubles as an awesome drink coaster. If you don't like reading it, you can just set your drink on it.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's great. No, I can't wait to read it. It's going to be really cool.
It's going to be fun, man. And it's not like it's not any sort of story about Motley or story about any of the one band I was in. This really just goes back to my very, very, very beginning. It tells a little bit of backstory on my grandparents coming over from Italy. And it just goes through my whole life, all the failed marriages and the girlfriends, all the bands that I was in, and just not really dishing out dirt, just telling everybody how I felt as I was going through every one of these ordeals. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's going to be good. Actually, talking about dirt, so you had the movie, and also Tom and Pammy, or Pam and Tommy, which we would call it. I noticed you said a few things about that, and I must admit, when I watched that, it really gave me a different perspective of Tommy Lee. But now I know, after seeing your comments, it's like, hey, that's not really him,
No, it's not. And I can tell you that I was in the band for almost 5 years. And when we toured, Tommy and I traveled together. It was just me and Tommy on a bus and a security guard. And it was random, and I never saw Tommy unless we were changing like in the dressing room. Never saw Tommy in his underwear. I never saw him in
Speedos or whatever those underwear in the TV thing. It was like he was constantly in like a Speedo. And I'm like, no, like this is wrong. And then just the whole story, how they bought the house and just the construction on the house. There were so many things wrong with that. It was ridiculous. So to me, it was unwatchable. And my only beef with the Dirt is I just wish they would have kept me out of it altogether. If they were going to put me in it, which they did, I just personally feel like they should have had Morgan Freeman play me. But whatever, that's fine. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, but no, definitely it was an interesting watch at Pam and Tommy.
I the only thing that I found a plus in that is the girl that played Pam. What is her name? It slipped my mind, but I loved her. There was another movie that she did with Gary Oldman called The Darkest Hour about Winston Churchill.
Okay.
And I brilliant in that. And I was sitting there going, how is she going to play Pam? Like in the original movie, I mean, she's a good looking girl, but she's dark hair, like brunette, like all this stuff. And whoever did her hair, makeup, and all that stuff, they nailed it. Like she was really good. But other than that, I just thought the script and the writing was just not I didn't care for it at all.
Yeah.
So whatever, my 2 cents.
Yeah. I'll just quickly ask you one last question, just about your son, because I've got a band as well. My daughter plays guitar and sings as well with me. So how is it playing with your son, Ian?
It's, you know what, dude, it's so great having him on stage and it's funny, to be honest. He was having some issues. He was there was a point about 7 or 8 years ago where he wasn't doing all that hot. He was kind of dabbling with drugs, and he came out to Nashville, and we had a heart to heart, and we got him all situated and sorted out. And he just said, I've always wanted to be in a band with you. And I said, okay, well, I slid the Motley record across the table.
Yep.
And I said, if you can play this record note for note and, just embrace this, gig is yours. And to his credit, he went home and he studied that record. And it was awesome. Like playing the shows that we played, everybody said he nailed the parts.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just good for me. I can't wait to be able to put my new band together. I've got some new music out that I've just been kind of releasing some songs here and there. And I can't wait to put a new band together and go to Europe and go to all these places together with him and just experience rock and roll lifestyle with my, it's awesome. It's pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah, no, I'm sure you'll be a proud father.
No, you know what? He's already made me a proud dad. Like he's grown up immensely.
Yeah.
He plays his ass off. He's out like when I'm not touring, he's got another band that he jams with called Rehab.
Okay.
But he's got a beautiful home, a great girlfriend. He's got 2 identical twin daughters, and then his girlfriend had 2 kids, so they've got 4 kids, a beautiful home. He's kicking ass, and I couldn't be happier and prouder of him. So
that's awesome.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Excellent. Really good. Well, hopefully we'll see you all down here maybe next year with the full band.
I would love that. And this time I'm going to play a little bit of the Motley stuff, but I've got so much back material and some new material. I just want to come down and play like 3 or 4 new songs for everybody and just touch base on the Scream and Union and Motley and the Daisies, play a little bit of everything, have some fun, and call it a day.
No, that's great. I look forward to. I'll be there. So I'll
I
be
hope so.
Yeah, I'll be the one yelling out Van Halen.
You never know.
No.
With my guitar players, we might pull something out of our ass. But are you coming to the acoustic show?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, let's hopefully at the end of the night we sit down and have a. I know I made this mistake. I used to come down and think when I went to Australia I had to have a Foster's, but it's like no, mate, it's Victoria Bitters, a VB.
That's it.
Maybe we'll call it a day.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll be there.
All right, buddy.
All right, thanks, John. Really appreciate your time, and I'll see you real soon. A couple of weeks.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye.